Thank you for listening to Comics for Fun and Profit. This is Kyle and Drew with your sneak peek at next week, episode number 538 for comics originally releasing November the 6th, 2019. Before Drew and I get into what's coming out in your local comic book shops this coming Wednesday. Drew, this is a bit of a different podcast.
Yeah, we are live on location.
Yeah.
We took a little trip. We're at our father's house, and so we're in Indiana. We're cutting firewood like the manly men that we are.
Oh, yeah.
Doing a lot of log splitting, working on tractors, that sort of thing. And we thought we could still squeeze in a podcast. Probably might sound a little different because we're in a very echoey hotel room. Mm-hmm. Not ideal, but we hope that just getting this episode is just a gift enough.
Absolutely. And this time I'll be able to tell when Drew rolls his eyes at me.
Exactly. I definitely will.
And this might actually lead to less talking over each other.
Yeah.
Or when we do, it'll just be both of us and we could kind of hash it out so it'll be less of a...
That's true. That's true. This will probably not ever happen again, but still. Let's start with some feedback. Aaron Churchill wrote in, Drew, your solo cast was appreciated. We tune in for the thoughts and the content. The back and forth of the dynamic duo is great. However, knowing you care enough to get something out means a lot. That's awesome. Thank you.
Take that into mind on this one.
Now on to starting with Batman. It was a question we got in a previous episode where we talked about the best way to start with Batman for someone who's never read any. Aaron's saying start with Detective Comics and Batman by Norm Breyfogle and Alan Grant, late 80s, early 90s. Those were very well done in 1 or 2 issue stories. There's some of that, the question depth to mostly straightforward Batman detective superhero stories. A very overlooked and not talked about enough period in Batman's history. Norm is the Batman artist to me. I looked it up, and there are trade paperbacks available. So there you go. Whoever that was that asked that question.
So much of an overlooked that I am unaware of. I know those ones very well.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. As for Scott Snyder, I like the guy, but Court of Owls is really the only thing I'd give someone as a starter. A lot of the New 52 lost me, especially that Robo Gordon Batman. Oh, I forgot about that. That was awful. A new reader would be like, huh? I want to read Batman. Though the last issue in the New 52 is a great Batman read. I don't remember that either. As for Martin Scorsese, we can let him have his thoughts, but I believe time will show these to be a great fun watch. All these Marvel movies. What else are movies supposed to do? They entertain, different levels and degrees, or even educating, but still entertainment. I heard on another podcast, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was panned when it came out, and now it's a classic. There you go.
Some of my favorite movies were just DOAs when they came out, and it's a long time later.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't Office Space like a bomb?
One of my favorites, Donnie Darko. Nobody cared about when it first came out.
Yeah. So, but I mean, these movies made like $1 billion.
Yeah.
So they're not really
nothing
cult
going under the radar as far as Endgame's concerned.
Maybe critically they'll come around now. As for 3 comic pet peeves I have, not having good comic conversation in my local comic book shop. Okay, that can suck. When stores mark up the comics before you even walk in on Wednesday, or pull all the secret variants, etc. There was one time I heard a guy behind the counter bragging about how he took a popular issue off the rack before it sold out. I'm not going to say I wouldn't do the same thing in a similar situation, but customer service would keep me from rubbing it in customers' faces at least.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, as a comic book speculator, we are kind of like little tiny mini comic book shops in that we buy comics to sell. So I can't really blame them to do it, but we hate it when they do stuff.
But we don't have a succinct customer base who relies on us for their books. That we are vulturing things from people that we know are coming in for their daily and weekly version of their things.
But I do understand the idea of monitoring what's coming out and capitalizing on the supply and demand.
To an extent, but I never think they should take them all as a shop owner. But so I see what he's saying on that.
Yeah, I mean, the people that pull stuff out of pull boxes and it just disappears, those are the people that need to burn in hell forever.
And the people that mark up independently orderable cover Bs on the day they release are awful people.
Even though DC is not doing that. Have you noticed? They're soliciting their cover Bs for $1 more.
Because they're
that's to justify it.
Yeah.
But it was because stores were doing that, and stores were saying there's more demand for this. You could get more out of these cover Bs because the art's better.
Yeah.
So they're actually the publisher's actually doing it, which is weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, to justify that extra, and not to say it's just because our art's better than on the A cover, they're making it a cardboard stock. Let's see. Oh, his third pet peeve: when a comic gets oversaturated. I really like Black Hammer, and I want Jeff Lemire to make as much money as possible. He deserves it. But at a certain point, I just fell off because I didn't know what was what anymore. Man, it's like I wrote this one. Mm-hmm. I agree with this 100% because Black Hammer was so great in the beginning, and then, yeah, you're right, oversaturated. He goes on to say, stick to the main comic, do a mini within the comic, bonus comic in the back, something like that, get a fill-in artist, whatever you need to do. But at the end of the day, all the minis, relaunches, etc., I just stopped trying. The only exception, I would say, is something crazy like a crossover with DC, like they are doing now. It's a great promotion for Black Hammer. Oh, the Black Hammer Justice League he's talking about. It's obviously easy to distinguish from the main comic and make sense and isn't confusing as a mini. Otherwise, stop. Do whatever you want within the main comic and keep me focused, or else I jump off. Black Hammer is just a recent example of a comic I really liked. Everyone, including the big two, have done this numerous times in the past. Yeah, they just milk stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, they find something that's successful, and then they just ride it until it dies.
Yeah, with like Animosity and Aftershock.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that was so great at the beginning, and then
there was a spin-off, and then they cut the main storyline and went somewhere else, and then there was another single issue here, and
Eric, our friend from Cowabunga, sent in his pet peeves as well. Making character changes because editorial or creative are lazy and unwilling to come up with new characters. Seems like that's Lemire, I think, has no issue doing this. Overstreet, making character changes because... Oh, he's talking about like changing their gender. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Instead of writing something interesting for this person to do, let's just change them, and then aha.
Do you think that's because if you work for the big two, you don't get to own your ideas? So if you come up with a new Harley Quinn, a new idea like Harley Quinn, you got to give it to them.
Yeah.
And it could be $1 billion idea.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be known as the creator of that, but you aren't cashing in on the monetization of that, so.
Yeah, you can go to cons and be Rob Liefeld and sign Deadpool first appearances for $50.
So, like, who was the creator of Spider-Gwen?
I don't know.
I can't remember, but we don't know. So there's that. But I mean, that spawned into the Spider-Verse movie. Yeah. One of the most popular Halloween costumes. She's already had 7 series on that thing. So yeah, that kind of thing. So some of these new characters, I can see where you're saying people aren't necessarily getting the credit for creating new characters within DC and Marvel. So
yeah,
some of the creativity's gone.
Yeah, so I'm saying Lemire has no problem doing this, but he's doing it for some like Dark Horse, which is probably giving him a piece of ownership too. Yeah. Let's see, number 2, Overstreet for modern and commonly sold titles. No, sir. Your late 80s and 90s run-of-the-mill X-Men books are not going to be $8 books.
See, Overstreet.
Okay, I'll let him. He can have this.
But I'm sure he has people that come in and say, "Oh, I have 110 issues of this X-Men run that's overprinted like crazy.
Oh yeah,
and they're $8 a piece. So that should mean you're giving me $900." No, not at all. I'm going to get $1 out of these books.
Gotcha.
Which means I got to give you 50 cents out of these books.
Gotcha.
Kind of thing. But the Overstreet's going to say, "Well, this is an $8 book because it's 30 years old."
Gotcha. Number 3, creators who go out of their way to tell customers not to buy their book if they follow person X or believe political position Y. only to come back whining, asking what they can do to get more people to buy their books.
We've seen a few examples of that recently of people who jump and quickly say things like, well, if you're this kind of person, don't bother. And then when they just don't have the sales to keep up, they just kind of wonder why.
Yeah. Tony asks, did you know that there's a new market for comics aimed at young comic readers that has opened up? That, combined with the ever-increasing mainstream popularity of manga, has revolutionized what material fans want to read. According to Bookscan sales, and for you guys that don't know, most of you probably know, but Bookscan is different from the charts we do from Comic-Con.
It says non-diamond. That's your Barnes & Nobles?
Yeah, it's Amazon, I think, Barnes & Noble, stuff that's actually scanned out of the store's inventory into readers' hands. So there could still be books on the shelf. Those aren't counted, just the stuff that was sold out. So according to Bookscan sales, 41% of comic sales are juvenile fiction. So that's like your dog. What's that dog book? I don't know. I can't think. There's a dog book. There's this Rhea Telgemeier. That's always at the top of the charts. There's all these kids material, and their comics, and their the stuff that sells through Scholastic. I don't think that's in Bookscan. It might be. I don't know. So 41% of those comic sales, according to Bookscan, is that juvenile fiction stuff. So that's a lot. He's saying 28% are manga books or manga books. So that's almost a third, and that leaves. He's saying 10% are superhero, with other genres taking up the rest. So through Bookscan sales, he's saying 10%. Only 10% are superhero comics, which is kind of a surprise to me.
Yeah, they're almost all Viz material mangas from what I'm looking from. Like, I'm looking at the August numbers. So, they're all My Hero Academia, One Piece, and all the other Viz stuff.
Yeah.
And then, there's Neil Gaiman's Snow, Glass and Apples, hardcover.
Yeah. I think the Bookscans, too, come out and they have different genres and categories.
Yeah.
So they don't, do an overall. I don't think. Maybe they do. I think you have to pay for this data anyway to get
there's your Dog Man you're talking about.
Dog Man, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Did I say Dog Boy?
Dog Boy.
Yeah. So he goes on to say, so how did we get here? What does this mean? And what should the comic industry do to take notice of this growing trend? So how did we get here? Crappy superhero books.
Yeah.
6-part stories that could have been 1-part stories. The same superhero stories over and over again that we read 5 years ago. Just 5 years ago. By the way, I heard they're doing a new Convergence.
Oh yeah.
DC might be doing Convergence too.
I heard someone was telling me they're reading and they keep talking about Flashpoint again.
Crazy. That's crazy. So that's might be how we got here, or it also might be that there's less and less people reading superhero comics.
Yeah,
and kids aren't necessarily gravitating to just that. Obviously, from the Dog Boy, Dog Man books popularity, there's something else that's resonating with kids. And we were kids. We went to the Scholastic Book Fair and read. We had Goosebumps and stuff like that we went to. So
and there's all kinds of different things that move the marker on this with these Dogman books and stuff. I know when my son and I are looking for books and things like that, we're looking for also things that count towards some of his core reading things. That they have to be a certain value book that he can log in and get credit for reading, and comics don't count towards any of that. But these independent ones seem to count towards these achievement reading things.
Wow. Okay, there you go. That's interesting. But they still count as comics.
Yeah, it's weird.
That is weird. Okay. So what does this all mean, and what should the comic industry do to take notice of this growing trend?
Market, trade more to kids.
Yeah, and this manga thing may have always been around, and maybe I just didn't notice it. But I think it's really blown up lately.
especially with all the streaming services, they're so much easier to get to, and the popularity of your Crunchyrolls and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people are gravitating a lot towards mangas.
Now you've watched some anime.
I've been watching a lot lately because a couple of my buddies are making me watch things.
So what are you watching, and does it have a corresponding print?
Yeah, One Punch Man, of course, has big mangas. My Hero Academia has big mangas that I watched. I just finished Hunter x Hunter, which is, cycling back up the finality of its manga, we believe, and that kind of thing. So, yeah, there's quite a few things that, the big thing is there's the original manga and the source material, and then the animes are trying not to go completely with the mangas and divulge just a little bit, not be exact.
So they're their own thing.
Yeah.
So not every anime is a manga book, and not every...
About every anime has a manga backing, but a lot of times the anime will try to deviate just enough that they're not going shot for shot with the anime, because that's not necessarily as popular.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I've watched very little anime, but I know it's a blind spot I have. I need to fill at some point. So between the juvenile fiction manga taking up, that's like 3/4 of the Bookscan market right there. That it's encouraging. It should be encouraging to the industry, I think, that young people are reading.
Yeah.
And reading comic material. They may not be reading superhero books, but neither do I. I read some, but I read mostly other stuff.
If they're reading that kind of formatted book, then it'd be easier for a lateral move to a comic or a superhero book.
Yeah. So I think it's good.
Yeah.
So let's keep that stuff in front of them and try to capitalize on it somehow.
Yeah, and eventually these markets, I think, will streamline more and more and more to where people will be able to get whatever they want, be it Bookscan or through.
I don't know how you like the people that read manga.
Right to left, it's crazy.
By and not. This is anecdotal. I don't have any data for this, but a lot of them that I talk to, they read manga and they read manga only.
Yes, correct.
And they don't dabble outside of that in any other comics. Not even like Image or any of the back half stuff. Nothing. It's manga only.
Yeah.
Now juvenile fiction. I don't know if there's a better like gateway passage from juvenile fiction comics, moving them into more diamond type comics or not, and getting them into comic book stores. I don't know. I don't know if that's something that's even possible, but I think it'd be cool to try.
Yeah,
it'd be really cool to try. So let's keep an eye on that, because I think these numbers are more interesting to me than Marvel slapping 500 covers on a book and it's selling 200,000 copies for a month, and then selling 20,000 copies the month after. This is a little more interesting. I wish we had hard data. If anybody has that and can leak it to us, we'd love to look at it.
And picking up these books and looking what they physically look like and what the differential is between an actual book and what they're considering these.
Yeah, what does Dogman look like?
Yeah,
is it an illustrated book or is it a comic?
Yeah,
there's a difference there. Anyway, these are great thoughts and questions and comments. We love to hear from our listeners. You can be a part of this as well by emailing us at comicsforfunandprofit@gmail.com with your questions, your comments, your gripes. We can't wait to hear what you have to say. And you can also find all our social media links on our website, which is comicsfunprofit.com, where you can find links to our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can reach out to us that way. Sometimes I miss those, but I'll catch them eventually, I promise. And again, your donations do keep our podcast going. We appreciate all the support we get from you, and there will be a link in the show notes where you can make a donation. And let us know when you do that. We want to thank you, because that's really important and something we want to recognize you for. So thank you for that. Now let's move on to the FOC.
Of course, the FOC is the final order cutoff. It's your last opportunity to add some books to your order, take a few books away, look at some final art on some books, jump back on a trend before it's too late without having to try to play catch-up or secondary market things with these things. Of course, your LCSs will let you look at these FOC things, and then you got till midday on Monday to add or do anything with your order, and usually still get a nice hearty discount for those kind of things. So we get ours curated from Eric at Cowabunga. He's wonderful and always helps us out with a nice little list for our FOC, so we can always add a few things here. If your LCS does not do an FOC, reach out to Eric at Cowabunga and get on his mailing list that you can be kept up to date with the FOC exclusives and the things from that. And they can also hook you up if you need to order directly from them like we do. So he's actually given us a few extra things here on the FOC. He usually highlights about 4 items. He did 6 this week because he said there is just some really good stuff that he knows people are adding to their order day in and day out, and he doesn't want us to miss those kind of things. So the first thing we have from Dark Horse, we have Witchfinder, Reign of Darkness, number 1 of 6. This is apparently from the Hellboy world, or 1 of 5, yeah. Mike Mignola book here, so apparently a big deal within the world of Hellboy, which I'm unfortunately not in. Conan Serpent War, number 1 of 4. Jim Zub writing for Marvel. Of course, Conan just coming back, and a big deal that Marvel was redoing Conan, and now it's on its like 15th different printing. So that's just crazy that we've already spun that off to a bunch of different Conan titles. I'm going to have to double check the numbers on those, see if those are really making a lot of hay for Marvel or what's going on. Here we have the Star Wars number 1 facsimile edition.
That is not by Jim Zub.
No, that one's not Jim Zub. That is the old Marvel Star Wars number 1. I have this laying around the house somewhere.
Yep, I have one of those too.
So this is your chance to get that old Star Wars number 1, get that facsimile edition, get it looking crisp and nice, and put it on your wall for a really cool book. We also have Batman Beyond, number 38. We're being told that Batman Beyond has been blowing up lately. Super popular. A lot of people jumping on. So we're going to feature that, bring it up to the top.
Lee Weeks doing the cover on that.
Lee Weeks doing the cover on that. Nice looking cover on that one. We have Ghost Rider 2099 jumping off at Marvel. Ed Brisson writing 2099 Ghost Rider on that one. Really cool looking cover. And we have more 2099. We have Venom 2099, also from Marvel. Jody Hauser with a Clayton Crane cover on that one. So it seems like 2099 is a pretty popular thing, and a lot of people jumping on. So if you balked at the opportunity a month ago or whatever, you still have another chance to jump on these 2099s. So let's dig a little deeper into the list and see what else we got.
You remember the last round of 2099s that we pulled out of quarter boxes?
Oh yeah.
How many?
I picked up 2 straight, like 1 through 30 sets of Spider-Man 29.
Yeah.
And I picked them up for a quarter a piece, even the number 1. And then I put them all together. I think I got $40 for the 1 through 30 on it, on both of them. And
then we did there was a Doom run that was always in there. I think they had just a standard 2099 book as well. That was just like a little bit of everybody. Maybe a FF 2099 that came out back in the day.
Yeah, and then I picked up a Deadpool not too long ago. That was the first appearance of Deadpool 2099 as well. So they were hinting at that not too long ago within that title.
Yeah, so we've gone down this road again. We'll see how this goes. I'm probably gonna dabble in the Spidey.
Yeah,
but I'm not doing any ancillary stuff unless it's like amazing and people are just raving about it.
There you go.
Now, back to Dark Horse. Anything in there that jumps out at you, Kyle?
Nothing a whole lot. Nothing that's real. A few real comics and a few trades and such like that, but nothing that I can't live without.
Yeah, me too.
And on to DC. Of course, we talked about Batman Beyond and the ability to jump on those kind of things right there.
Now, Basketful of Heads, 2nd issue.
Yes.
I read the 1st issue a couple nights ago. Lived up to what I was hoping it would be.
Excellent.
It is really good. It was Joe Hill throughout. And really, really solid stuff. And I'm feeling really confident about this Hill House imprint. And I want to be all in on it.
Awesome. So run to your LCSs, make sure they have issue 1, and then be there by Monday midday to make sure you order your version of 2. It is a 6-issue arc, so it's not too late to jump on, have that whole thing, and be there from day 1 all the way through the end of that Hill imprint arc. Harleen, number 3 of 3. Of course, that black imprint book, $8 book. So if you're on that or have enjoyed that, I think these are some good looking covers as well on these ones. Don't forget this 3rd book and make sure you're in on them.
I might get that Infinity Crisis dollar book. I don't know that I've ever read that one. I've heard great things about Infinity Crisis. Like that's Infinite Crisis.
Infinite, yeah.
Is it also great?
For $1, it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's worth checking out. I've heard good things about Crisis stuff. Except for Heroes in Crisis. You don't hear a lot of good stuff about that.
New Year's Evil number 1. Oh, this is probably their one shot. Yeah, $10 book. This is their seasonal thing they do with a bunch of different creators and everything they've done for every season since the beginning of time.
Are we excited that John Constantine is coming back? This time written by Cy Spurrier.
My goodness, he really is the Moon Knight of DC.
No, he had a 300 issue one.
He did. That's right. He had a big run.
Moon Knight would kill for a 300 issue run.
True.
Yeah, so they're bringing him back pretty quickly after a long run. So we'll see how that goes.
And we'll see if we can season that into a Justice League Dark or anything else again.
Yeah. Well, I think he's in Justice League Dark.
Is there a Justice League Dark at the moment? I don't think there is.
Well, there's a Justice League...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think there is.
Okay, yeah.
It has like Detective Chimp and Constantine's in it, and
Yep.
Swamp Thing, and I think so. Maybe not. Maybe it's over.
Anything else in DC?
No.
All right, let's head on down and see what IDW has for it. I forgot they were doing Cobra Kai Karate Kid stuff.
Yeah. First issue was pretty good. I liked it.
Spinning off, of course, another Crow series. Another Star Trek series.
Another TMNT.
Finishing up their TMNT series. Yep, and that's it. So moving on to Image.
Curse Words reached its 25th issue. That's kind of nice. I think that's like the old 60 Image, you know, or Vertigo, you know.
Celebrate the quarter century.
Yeah. We've got a Lazarus sighting. So Lazarus Risen number 3. It's a quarterly book.
Yeah, I was going to say quarterly.
It's a quarterly book, but it's not 3 times the size. It's twice the size of a normal issue. So you wait 3 months for 2 issues, basically. So it's a cadence they can keep up with. I don't necessarily like the format.
Yeah.
I'd still rather have 2 24-issue comics every month and a half.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'd like it that way, but it's still great to have Lazarus around. I hope he keeps doing them, and it doesn't do so poorly that he just stops, because I think this is something you can write forever, like we thought you could do with Walking Dead.
Yeah, because they created a post-apocalyptic entire world based on all the different families and all the different relationships that happen with that,
and it's not oversaturated.
No,
you know, when he did do some source books and stuff.
I was going to say, you can see just the amount of time he's put into every aspect of this based on the source books and the fact that there are 12 different families, and he has written a history for each different family and how they, you know, who's got what alliances and things like that you can write these things forever. And they're worth writing forever.
Yeah.
All right, that all for Image?
Yes.
Marvel time.
Is it?
Conan 2099, Conan Serpent Wars, Fantastic Four Grand Design.
A lot of 2099 stuff. Marauders was very well received, and it's in second printing. And the 3rd issue is also available for final order. That Punisher does seem like a good option.
Yeah.
I wonder what the Epting variant looks like. I gotta take a look at that
Yeah,
one.
we have Ghost Spider number 4. The variant print is a Bengal 2099 variant. I wonder if that's the first time we're seeing Ghost Spider 2099. So I'm curious about that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Star Wars #1 facsimile.
Yeah.
That's tempting, just to have a nice crisp copy.
As we say, because they got one, but it ain't crisp.
No.
More Carnage, Screams, Curse of Carnage #1. Punisher 2099 sounds like it could be kind of cool.
Thor Worthy, I seem to have missed that one. This is Walt Simonson writing it with Kim Jacinto doing the cover and Ron Friends on interior art. Old school Thor.
There you go.
Yeah, so Jason Aaron has kind of written his last Thor, put that to bed.
So no Unworthy, no female Thor, just OG Thor.
So let's give Walt Simonson the reins back for a little while and let him do something.
There you go.
Man, a lot of True Believers Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, because is this stuff coming out in December? No.
It's coming out, yeah, December 4th.
Yep, so it's coming out a couple weeks before the movie hits.
Makes sense. Let's see. More Venom. Web of Black Widow. That's 4th issue. Not doing much for me.
Mm-hmm.
People seem to be enjoying the new X-Men launch.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to a second printing after launching pretty well. And the 3rd issue of X-Men is available. That's kind of all I see in Marvel.
Yep, that's all I got as well. Let's head on down and see what Boom has.
Boom has a Folklords 1st issue of a 5-issue miniseries, and it doesn't have
a second print, so that came out already.
Oh yeah, that's a second print.
Yeah.
That's right. I think we had this as a pick.
Mm-hmm.
Not too long ago.
Which means since it's going to a second print, we did well.
I wonder what. So they don't have the cover listed. So that must mean it's a new cover.
I would think.
Yeah. Nice. Opportunity there. Money Shot went to a second printing.
That was one of my picks.
Yeah, and there's a Black Bag Burnham variant for $5.99 for Money Shot, which seems kind of interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah. But they add $2 to it.
Yeah.
So I don't think I don't do that.
Thank you. Oh yeah, I remember the Folklords. Yeah. Yeah, and it had that really cool Dan Mora. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got in Boom.
That's the first issue for Rye down in Valiant.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a relaunch. Bloodshot did really well with its relaunch, so I would expect Rye to do really well as well.
There you go.
As well.
You don't expect them to relaunch everything.
Uh-huh. And that is all for the FOC from me.
All for myself as well.
Let's shoot on over to our sneak peek at next week.
Yeah, we don't have any eBay-based comics today. Nothing from Cover Price to really talk about. So let's just go ahead and jump right into our sneak peek. See what's going on there. See what is coming out on the week of
November 6th.
November 6th. There we go. November 6th, 2019. Let's start where we always start, in Image.
I am current on Deadly Class now.
41.
I've burned through
one of the
40
big
issues.
dogs of Image at 41.
Yeah, it's one of the leaders in the clubhouse now,
Mm-hmm.
I think. Death or Glory is finishing up with its 6th issue. There's an Image First Compendium, Volume 3. They keep cranking these out, with just a collection of first issues of some of their titles, which is kind of cool. Manifest Destiny gets its 38th issue, so that's kind of cool.
They must know what they're doing if they're starting to smoke that out all the time now, too.
Yeah, it's great.
Got Spawn 300 with a 3rd printing. Of course, Spawn 300. they're doing all these different colored printings of the one that looks like Spider-Man 300. So
oh, nice.
They're just changing the colors, and they're just going to crank those out till we hit 100, I think. And I can't say that I'm blaming.
Undiscovered Country, #1. This was out a while ago, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this in here now? Was it already out, or was that just a preview in the back page? I thought that was.
Yeah. We talked about it several times.
I thought so. It's weird. And that is all I'm seeing from Image.
Yeah. So what was the thing with Undiscovered Country? I know we had a.
It's weird, right? It's got an August and a September. I'm pretty sure I read it.
Yeah.
Maybe I read it digitally, and it never came out in print. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I feel like that's been our pick before.
Yeah, I thought so too.
All right, down to Dark Horse.
Okay, Crone #1. This is Dennis Culver and Justin Greenwood. Justin Greenwood did Stumptown. He did Last Siege. He did that Fuse book I really liked.
Oh yeah.
So I'm a big fan of his. This doesn't look like my wheelhouse, like from a writing standpoint. I'm not sure who Dennis Culver did Burnouts. Oh, I like Burnouts. I thought it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's let's see, the sword savior and champion of men, once known as Bloody Bliss, is now nothing more than a reclusive old crone. Does she have the strength to answer the call for one last adventure? Equal parts Unforgiven and Xena Warrior Princess. Two things that I don't think go together at all.
That doesn't sweeten the pot.
But I might check out this first one just for the Justin Greenwood.
Yeah, Crone or Crony or whatever it is.
You think it's Crony?
I don't know. She looked like an old crony to me.
It's Crone. I'm pretty sure it's Crone. It's not a weird wired type situation.
Anything else?
Ruby Falls.
Yeah.
That first issue was really good. This is Ann Ascente, and you know me, I don't really like her stuff very much.
Mm-mm.
And so for me to like this,
saying something.
that's saying something, right? But I really, really dug it. I thought that first issue was great. So if you can still find that, please do.
There you go. Down to IDW.
Yes. Nothing.
Nothing at all. Down to DC. Ooh, the acetate cover for Batman 82.
There's your dollar comic version of Flashpoint there.
There you go.
You were just talking about Flashpoint.
Uh-huh.
Genlock #1. Dan Mora cover, which is always nice.
Oh, yeah.
Is this something that's coming out of...
Yeah, we talked about this at the FOC. I thought it looked very interesting.
We did, Genlock?
Yeah. On the FOC, not on the actual.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here.
Legion of Superheroes. This is... people have been waiting for this for a long time, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
There are some Legion of Superheroes superfans out there. And this is Brian Michael Bendis. This is Ryan Sook.
Yep.
People have been clamoring for this for a long time. They've been leading up to. We had some prequel issues. This should sell well, right?
Absolutely. Heck yeah.
And then get canceled shortly thereafter, or will you think it'll have some staying power?
Maybe. I mean,
because people have been wanting
Bendis has a story.
It's true. It's Bendis. You should have a nice long leash. But I'm glad it's finally out. And now we can move on to something else that people pine for.
There you go. We got a $30 hardcover for Superman Year 1.
Wow. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. I enjoyed that a lot. Teen Titans Go, Giant #1.
Is that a Walmart?
Yeah. Looks like a no-brainer, but I bet it's really good. It does reprint tales from Teens Titan Go #1 through 3.
There you go. Yeah, some Marvel ads for us.
I'm enjoying the Black Cat series. It's on its 6th issue. It's been pretty good. I really like the first issue of Doctor Doom, so I am psyched for this 2nd issue.
Yeah. Covers have been nice on Black Cat.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Doctor Doom's been. I heard good things. I can't wait to read that.
Yeah, it was good.
New Mutants #1 Art Germ.
Old Man Quill is on its 11th issue. It's only got one more left. That means it's the penultimate.
So yeah, there's a really nice Art Germ version of that New Mutants #1.
Nice. We got Spider-Man and Venom in Double Trouble #1 of 4 with Mariko Tamaki doing the writing and Guri Hurry on art.
Her?
Guri Haru.
Oh, see, this looks kiddie. Well, I don't want anything.
You don't want anything to do with it.
I don't want anything to do with that.
I think every time it says Double Trouble, that's some kind of younger thing. But we just heard it's a growing market, so maybe they should do more of these.
It's true. It's very true. Oh, okay. So in our FOC, I was going past Yondu number 2, thinking, oh man, I missed out on Yondu #1, but here it is, Yondu #1.
Yeah. Based on that cover, though, it doesn't look like the movie version.
An awful looking cover.
Yeah. The B cover's a little better, the Pacheco.
Yeah. So, yeah. Could be interesting 5-issue art based on Yondu. Of course, super popular from his movie adaptation. Michael Rooker played it, of course.
Yep.
And, of course, one of the original members of the Guardians of the Galaxy before the current iteration that we have.
Really?
Yeah. All right. Anything else from Marvel?
No.
All right, let's dig through some of the smaller stuff.
I don't have anything in Dynamite either. I don't have anything until Boom.
Yep.
Where I'm looking at this BB Free #1 as a 12-issue series. BB Free broadcasts her underground radio show from her remote swamp community, and she has no idea she's actually the chosen one. This is written by Gabby Rivera with art by Royal Dunlap. I'm going to sample it. I'm not in it for the long haul unless it's good.
We shall see.
But I want to check it out.
We have The Magicians #1 from Lilia Sturgis with Pius Back on art. Meet the new class of Break Bills College.
Do you remember a long time ago when you picked Once and Future as our spec pick of the week? Guess what printing it's on now?
What is it?
7th.
7th, and they've been some cool covers. They're switching the covers up every single time.
They're on the 7th printing for Once and Future. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think that Magicians is an already title. That's
existing thing, yeah. Back half?
Yep.
Deceased finish, by the way.
Yep.
Oh,
I was hearing all about it.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah? Not that happy ending you were looking for.
No, we didn't pull any punches.
But I like that they're willing to do that kind of stuff.
And Black Label.
Yeah.
Is it Black Label?
No.
It's not.
No.
But it's kind of Black Label.
It's Dark Multiverse. Or not Dark. No, it isn't even Dark Multiverse, I don't think. It's, just...
Well, they can't let that be canon.
No, it's not. It's Elseworld in general.
Yeah.
But it's cool. They just wrote good, interesting stuff. It was, 1 through 5? Yeah. Plus they did that 6th offshoot issue. And
I thought they did 2.
Yeah, they did a couple.
2 5 or 6 issue series. But it was really great. Dog Eaters #1 from Antarctic Press is written by Malcolm Wong with art by Guillermo. Jesus. Guillermo. I know how to pronounce that. Help me.
Guillermo.
Jeez. Guillermo Angel. Or Angel, maybe. Adapted from the screenplay that took 3 awards at Screenwriting Expo 5. Remember that? No, me neither. And so it's a failed screenplay.
Let's try it in comics.
Maybe we'll get our movie made that way.
Heist, number 1, How to Steal a Planet. Cover A from Vault Comics, Paul Tobin and Aruna Susini with art. Welcome to the planet Heist. It's the cutthroat capital of the entire Nihring system, home to billions of the worst men and women in the galaxy. It's Ocean's 11, but in space.
Nice. From Stranger Comics, Niobe, She is Death, number 1. With the world divided, who do you turn to? In the sequel to Niobe, She is Life. A bounty has been put on the young savior's head. This is written by Sebastian Jones, with art by Sheldon Mitchell.
Were you still reading Punchline?
No.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to this. Shoplifters Will Be Liquidated. Number 2.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for a while.
Yeah, that first issue was really good. Really set the stage for what this world is, and I'm looking forward to seeing where the second issue goes. It's from Aftershock.
Yeah. Voidwalker, number 1. We talked about this. I remember on the FOC a bit. From your boys at Alterna Comics, trying again here.
Was it 150?
Yep, $1.50 book.
I wonder whatever happened with their plan to put spinner racks in Dollar Generals filled with Alterna Comics. I mean, is that
sure
it's dead, right?
So what?
That's dead, right? Because
they're not there.
They're not there. So
there's $900 Generals and everywhere. We got Wretches, number 1 from Scout Comics. That's a pretty good looking book there. $4. James Roche with Celo Farias. Alone in the tough streets of an alien city, far from the lifeless planet they once called home, siblings Shay and Sean spend their youth struggling to survive, still suffering emotionally from the loss of everything they'd ever known and loved. Shay and Sean have nothing else in the universe but each other. Forever outrunning the horrors of their past, they survive the only way they know how, by hunting and killing sentient robots for profit. That's awesome. I like this. It's a good-looking cover. The person doing the cover art, it looks like maybe be doing the interiors as well. Yeah, that looks awesome.
Nice.
And that's it.
That's it.
Yep. So, Drew, this is for the podcast where I ask for your pick of the week. What's your one book to make sure you head to your local comic book shop to say, this is probably the book I'm going to make sure I get before anybody else gets their grubby little paws on it?
Oh, man. This is, I got to put my money where my mouth is, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Shoot. You know, I can't do it. I was going to ride the Immortal Hulk train for another week.
Absolutely.
I don't think I can do it.
What came of that big issue we had to get issue with the oversized extra money issue? Has that come out yet?
It has.
Nothing? They lied to us?
It hasn't hit fire quite yet. I might have to go with Crone from Dark Horse.
There you go.
I might have to be my pick.
Drew picks Crone from Dark Horse. I am enamored with this Wretches from Scout Comics. Wretches number 1, Scout Comics. So maybe a little more difficult for you to find if you got a smaller LCS. But if you have someone larger, make sure that you're there early on Wednesday and get that copy in case they only got a couple on those. Because it sounds like a pretty interesting story with pretty good top-notch art. I've done well with a couple Scout Comics in the past, so that bodes well for me. So I'm going to give a shout out to Wretches number 1. Not a book that we were even seeing in the FOC, so while we get a little reliant on the FOC, these are the kind of things that fall through that crack, and you got to make sure you're checking your previews for or getting there real early.
What was the publisher?
Scout.
I don't know if they are on FOC. They might not be.
Well, I don't remember seeing this book on FOC when we come through it.
Well, it's the first issue.
But like I don't.
Oh, you don't ever remember seeing it?
I don't remember talking about it because normally I'm like, oh yeah, I remember us talking about this.
Oh yeah.
But not so much on these kind of things. So that's awesome. So always great reasons to head to your FOC or your LCS bright and early on Wednesday, that first lovely comic book day. And Drew and I have given you a couple things. If you disagree with this, and there's a couple other things in here that you want, if you were able to, if you're, what was it? Everybody's excited for the Legion, was it?
Yeah, Legion Superheroes.
If you're big into Legion, make sure you tell us how excited you are for this Legion, and if it's hitting on the cylinders you want it to. Or if you picked up Wretches #1 and you said, Kyle, you've led me astray, don't ever do that again, drop us a line as well. We want to continue to hear more people with their comic book pet peeves or comic shop pet peeves. Let us know more on those. I always love to hear those things, or anything else you'd like us to know. Please be part of the podcast by writing or finding us on Twitters, Instagrams, Facebooks, and anything else. So thank you so much for Drew and for myself. See ya.